we need to get things moving. So we're honored to have with us tonight the Junior High National Rodeo. What you were just, are these the winners, or are these the contestants, or a little bit of both, or what?
These represent the National High School Rodeo Association, and they are members of the Iowa High School Rodeo Association, and these are winners in their events.
Well, why don't you come up here and maybe you can repeat that so that it'll be on the microphone. Yeah.
Hi, Bob. Nice to meet you, Bob. Jim Thorpe.
Jim Thorpe?
Yes, I'm the National Director for the state of Iowa and on the executive committee.
Okay, they wanted to tell everybody out there that what this is.
Okay. I'm Jim Thorpe. I'm the National Director for the state of Iowa. Each state in the United States, and there are 42 of us that have nationals or have state associations. There are 5 Canadian provinces, and then the country of Australia compete in the National Junior High Finals Rodeo. They send their 4 top cowboys and cowgirls from each event. And I think there's 13 events that will come. We have 1,800 qualifying rodeos throughout the year. We'll send 1,000 contestants here to Des Moines to compete in all those events. It represents the 2nd largest rodeo in the world. So, we're here today. I've brought members of the Iowa High School Rodeo Association, or the junior high division. These are winners that were qualified at our state level, and they're here to compete in Des Moines and represent Iowa at this national competition, or actually international competition. So we come today to offer our thanks. This division, the National High School Rodeo Association and Iowa High School Rodeo has been around since 1947. So we've been around for a long time, but the last 10 years we formed a junior high association. We represent 6th, 7th, and 8th graders, and that's what's in Des Moines this week. We kicked it off yesterday on Sunday evening. It will run 2 performances a day through Saturday evening. So there's 13 total performances. And we hope that lots of people come out from Des Moines. It is the first time we've hosted this rodeo outside the state of New Mexico. It's been there for 9 years, and we brought it to Des Moines. I will tell you that, it's the comments I hear, everybody is absolutely very happy with not only the welcome we received, but the facility, and we're going to have a great rodeo, and we hope that everyone would come out and see us out there. And what we're here today is to offer our thanks for the support of the City of Des Moines and the City Council to have us here. Our welcome couldn't be any better, and we couldn't have a nicer facility than the Iowa State Fairgrounds. So, and with that, Bob, let me introduce my team, and then why don't you guys come on up, and I'll introduce you guys, and maybe let them tell you what events they're in. So,
Sure, great.
So. Start here. This is Sydney, and I have JC, I have Coy, and I have Bubba. And so, why don't we let you tell them what events you're in and what nights you're out, and then we'll make our presentation.
Okay, I qualified in ribbon roping and pole bending, and I'm up tonight in ribbon roping, and Wednesday morning and Wednesday evening in poles, and Friday morning in ribbon roping.
I qualified in breakaway and team roping. I break away tonight and Friday morning, and tomorrow morning and Thursday night I team rope.
I qualified for bull riding. I rode today, this morning, and I ride Friday night.
I'm here in the bull riding, and I ride Tuesday night and Thursday morning.
So what they neglected to tell you is they all going to ride on Saturday night, which is our short go. Top 20 qualifiers from the first, everybody gets to compete twice, and the top 20 come back on Saturday night for what's called a short go competition to determine the national champions.
You might share what the times are. Twice a day?
Twice a day. We have performances at 9 o'clock in the morning and then at 7 o'clock in the evening. Okay. Twice a day now through Saturday night.
Good. Good.
So we're here to present this plaque. Kids can present this plaque to Bob. This is an expression of our appreciation for all the support and all the kind support we've had in the city of Des Moines.
Well, a couple of these come over here because I think we want to get a picture. There.
Thank you.
You know, we're really pleased and honored to have you people choose Des Moines because we feel we got a lot to offer, and we think that youngsters like this, and they'll probably grow up to be big cowboys and cowgirls, and we're really proud of what our facilities and that we have to offer. So we hope that you'll consider coming back again because we certainly feel that it's our honor to have you.
We will be here again next year.
Okay. Thank you. Thank you.
I got a question for you.
Yes, sir.
How come the competitors all have white hats, and you got black?
They think I'm a bad guy. I enforce the rules. Okay, you ready? Go back out to the
Have a good evening. Hope you all are winners.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you.
Bob, if we have enough for municipal housing, Mr. Coleman would like to just join for the regular council.
Just a regular.
Yeah, so whenever you're ready to reserve this municipal housing,
If we'll have your attention, we'll get started with our Municipal Housing Agency Governing Board, and welcome to everybody who's here to be part of our meeting tonight. So we'll start off with the roll call.
Moore. Here. Gray.
Here.
Mahaffey.
Here.
Hensley. Here. We have a quorum.
Thank you. Item number 2, approving amendment to the Des Moines Municipal Housing Agency's 2014 Section 8 Administrative Plan relating to income reexamination, Board Communication number 14-292. Do we have anybody here to speak on that? Seeing none, do we have a motion?
Move.
All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Okay, or do we need a vote on that?
For this board, it's okay. For the
Okay.
council, it wouldn't be.
All right. Okay, all those opposed, nay?
Yeah.
Got one opposition. We got a vote of 3-1, and it passes. Item 3, approval United Way of Central Iowa funding.
Actually, that would not pass.
3 won't.
It would require 4,
Oh, it requires a minimum of 4?
requires a minimum of 4.
Okay.
So,
Would you like me to try and get Mr. Coleman on the line?
probably
Might
be
as
helpful.
well, as long as we're
For sure.
trying to get this. I thought majority.
No, I vote no.
Any, I just happen to have it with me right here, right now. Passion ordinance amendment, the resolution requires a majority vote of all members.
All members.
So
So
it's,
it's a tie.
so it's 3-1, yeah, so it has to, have to have a 4th. Might,
Our legal advisor reminds me that we have to have a majority of the council, not just a majority in attendance. So,
I can't get Mr. Coleman.
so do we,
Can I ask a question? What's the sensitivity on timing for that? And I guess if Chris is going to be on the meeting, if he's going to be on the call later,
right.
can we, continue this or not actually adjourn and come back and
if the board would recess
recess? That's the word I want.
rather than adjourn, they can
Perfect.
bring it back later.
Okay.
Mr. Roming.
Mayor Pro Tem Mahaffey, members of the Municipal Housing Governing Board. The action before you, I guess, is a positive impact to our tenants because it's allowing them to complete their annual reexaminations through the mail versus having to physically come into the office and meet with us. And this would be for elderly and disabled families that are on fixed incomes, or families that have a reasonable accommodation for a home visit. So instead of us having to take staff time and pay mileage to drive out to their properties, they can just do everything through the mail. So as far as timing, it's a change in policy. It would take effect basically 30 days after approval, but we were shooting for July 1st with the start of our agency plan changes.
Okay. So if we just go into recess then?
But this would be a convenience to the housing people, to your
To our
residents.
clients,
Yeah.
yes.
Yep.
I'm gonna move to. I'd like to move to reconsider.
Okay. Well, I think since it's a convenience for them and that, so we,
I'll support the motion to reconsider.
okay. All those in favor of reconsidering this item, signify by saying yes.
Yes?
Yes.
Opposed? So we have our 4 votes, so item 2 then passes.
Well, no,
You need a
he wants to
motion on the item.
reconsider.
Yeah, now you'll have.
Oh, no,
have
yes.
to vote
That's
on
right.
It's just
Now
back
let's
in
go
front of
back.
the, it's just back in front of the board. Now you need another
Yep,
motion.
you're right. Motion is for item number 2.
Chris,
I'll move.
Thank you.
All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, we got our 4 votes, so item 2 passes. Item 3, approval United Way of Central Iowa funding agreement for family self-sufficiency program. Any speakers on United Way? If not, we have a motion.
Move.
All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? We have 4 votes yes, so that passes. We need a motion to adjourn.
Move.
All those in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Okay.
Aye.
Well,
Rock for Rolling Stone.
we've got a few minutes here before we need to get into our agenda items. So we'll wait until our 4:30 starting time to get going with our council meeting agenda. She will try.
I was just floored last meeting how the whole state of Iowa, we're the biggest. Wow. I have Laura, I have a specially worded motion on number 5. So it doesn't, I mean, it could just be part of the roll call, but we want that in the record, so. It's on consent right now to deny, so I'm assuming it'll stay there, but.
5 is what, cigarettes?
5 is the liquor.
Oh, that's Peggy's 5. 7 is liquor, or cigarette. Mr. Coleman on? So we have.
Hello, Mr. Mahaffey.
Okay. Glad to hear your voice, Mr. Coleman.
Thanks for having me.
Okay, at 4:30 has arrived, time for us to start our council meeting. I want to thank all those in attendance tonight, and we're going to proceed here with the roll call.
Actually, I think you're going to do your invocation first.
I guess you have caught me again, sir.
Apologize.
Yes, we will have the invocation first, and as the mayor would say, we're going to have words of wisdom from our Skip Moore.
Thank you, Mayor Pro Tem. 238 years ago today, in 1776, the final draft of the Declaration of Independence was delivered to the Continental Congress. As you know, it's a very lengthy document, but embedded in the there were many people that had hands in putting it together, and there's one long, lengthy paragraph in there that Thomas Jefferson had a hand in, and I'm going to read just a small portion of what he wrote that established the governance as we see it today. We hold these truths to be self-evident, that all men are created equal, that they are endowed by their Creator with certain unalienable rights, that among these are life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. That to secure these rights, governments are instituted among men, and that means men and women, deriving their just powers from the consent of the governed. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Moore. Now we will proceed with the roll call.
Coleman,
Here.
Moore. Here. Gray,
Here.
Mahaffey,
Here.
Hensley. Here. We have a quorum.
Okay, item 2 is approving the agenda as presented and/or amended.
Move.
All those in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Oh, wait, do we need to vote on
No, that part is fine. When we get
Okay.
to the consent agenda, we'll have to do.
Okay, okay. Okay, so we have a majority needed to approve the agenda as presented or as amended. Approving consent agenda, items 3 through 50. We have a number of them that the council have picked to speak on. Mr. Moore on number 5, Mr. Moore on number 7, Mrs. Hensley on 17, and Mr. Gray on 21 and 25. And there will be a few of them that have been withdrawn as a result of the number of our council people in attendance, or a number that is being absent tonight. So I am I am overseeing the meeting as the mayor expects to be here later. He is on a flight back to Des Moines, so we'll see what time he arrives, and that may have a bearing on some of the items that we have to vote on. So anything that those in the audience would like to pull for discussion?
Mayor Pro Tem,
Yes, sir.
I wanted to clarify, all the numbers that you read are going to be discussed. They aren't no votes.
When Mr. Coleman, item 5, Mr. Moore passes, and on 7, Mr. Moore votes no.
Okay,
And the last 3 are for speaking.
okay.
Yeah.
I'm also a no on 4AA.
Okay?
Four, I think you said
Is
AA.
that the only
For
one?
AA.
Oh, for AAA? Mr.
Yes.
Coleman, yes, okay. Yes, sir.
May it please the council, my name is Brandon Brown. I'm a lawyer with the Parish Law Firm here in Des Moines. I represent the Kana family.
Excuse me.
Can you just
Which number do you
Give
want to
us-
speak on?
give us a number you want to speak on, then we come up to it, then we will have you come to the podium.
I understand, I'm just identifying
Which
myself.
number?
Item number 6.
6?
It's the Fast Mart located at 1401 East Buchanan Street.
Okay. Well, well, you might as well just stay there for a minute then. Seeing no others, do we have a move to
I'll move
approve the consent agenda?
I'll move.
Okay. We'll have voting, and my understanding, we need to, we have another one? I'm on number 5. We're going to discuss number 5. 5, okay.
5 and 6? Okay.
Okay. Any others? Seeing no others, we have a motion to approve the consent. We'll have to vote on your pads. Everybody's voted but me? All right.
And Mr. Coleman?
And I'm a yes.
5 yes.
Okay, now let's go ahead with, as long as this gentleman's here, can we go with 6 and then go back to 5? Go ahead.
Thank you. As I indicated earlier, I represent Fast Mart that's located at 1401 East Buchanan Street.
Okay, would you give us your name and
Yeah.
address, please?
Brandon Brown, it's a Parish Law Firm at 2910 Grand Avenue in Des Moines. I am their legal representative. The reason why I'm here is this particular location is a convenience store that is subject to the recent zoning amendment that requires that it demonstrate that no more than 40% of its gross sales can be attributed to alcohol or tobacco. If they can do that, they will obtain a conditional use permit from the zoning board. We are presently on the agenda for Wednesday's session. And it appears that the staff is approving the conditional use permit. We have obtained the audit to the satisfaction of the inspector with the city of Des Moines, and we are asking that this matter be placed on the next session's agenda rather than it be denied, so that we can obtain the conditional use permit.
Did I understand you say you did have an audit and the
Yes.
audit's been turned over to the city?
Yes, and it reveals that no more than the 40% derives from alcohol or tobacco sales. So it's just a matter of time before it's approved, from what I understand.
Bob, did you want to have, Doug is back there, he could come up and address it.
Actually, the zoning, probably more appropriate for the zoning.
Mike, could you come up and address this?
Mayor Pro Tem, members of the council, Michael Ludwig, Planning Administrator. It is my understanding that they have submitted their audit. I don't have the findings of the audit or the review by the staff at this point. I think Sue Donovan's here. I don't know if she's prepared to speak on that specifically. If it was a 2-week continuance, I guess I would defer to the legal department about whether or not that's an option.
Can we just make a motion to continue it for 2 weeks until we get all the information and the timing lines up?
I just checked with legal advisor and he said we could do that.
I'll move to continue.
I believe that's the July 10th?
14.
14th.
Okay.
Okay.
Thank you.
And that's number 6.
I have a question if I could. I don't need a detailed answer now. But there's a fast food restaurant that's next to this now. Could that be considered as part of the audit or not?
Can somebody repeat that? He seems to be real muffled.
There's a fast food restaurant next door to this facility, and is that being included in the amounts?
I don't believe so.
No, it's not.
That's a separate entity, I think.
Okay, I'm sorry if it was hard to hear me before. Thank you.
That's
That's much better. Thank you, Chris.
Yeah. So did you get our reply that?
I did.
That's
I did.
a separate
Thank you.
entity, yeah. Okay. Christine, did you move that? or
Skip did.
Skip did? Okay. Let's vote on it then. We have a motion. Continue it to the next meeting.
Thank you.
So and you voted yes, Chris?
Yes.
5 yes.
5 yes. Okay, now item 5. This is consideration of a Class C liquor license for Peggy's Inc., 3020 Forest Avenue. Police Department recommends denial. Go ahead. Give us
My
your
name
name
is
and
Mark
address.
Graziano. I live at 14403 Wilden Drive. I do own Peggy's. I had Ron Bajorson, I think, call me last week. I'm not sure of his name. He called me from the police department, said he was going to recommend this. He was not aware at the time that I had an appeal filed for those motions, for that motion to be there. There were still other counts that I'm not able to go much into, but we hope that most will be addressed all on that day. I'd like it known that I've had Peggy's for 5 to 6 years without any incident. No police calls, no infractions. I am limited in my information I can go over.
Is there someone from the police department who would want to share what the record is on this item?
Mayor Pro Tem Council, Lieutenant Chris Hardy from the Police Department, Vice Narcotics Section. The information I have on Peggy's is Mr. Graziano is the sole owner of the business, has been since the summer of 2009. There have been 13 compliance checks at that business since then. He's passed 8 times and had 8 failures. I'm sorry, he's passed 8, had 5 failures during that.
Who's going to address the letter that we received then with all of the different counts and the stipulations in there?
I'll be happy to.
Okay.
It's our understanding that Judge Blaine's decision actually says there's only 1 count that is on appeal, as opposed to a blanket notice of appeal of all of the counts. So if the council wants to continue this for 2 weeks, that'll give us an opportunity to review it, the allegation that everything's on appeal as opposed to the 1 count that's on appeal. We'll be happy to do that and report back to council.
I would be happy to continue it for 2 weeks, but based upon the letter that we received from legal, once they clear up whether it's the 1 count versus the 17 or 19 counts, if that's the case, then, you know, I've got action that's been recommended by legal that I would be willing to uphold. So my motion would be to continue it to the next council meeting.
I think that's the only fair thing to do. I do have a question, though. Do you work the bar, or are you an outside owner? Do you have a staff that run it? Okay.
What was the reply? You are not the owner?
Outside.
You are the owner? You are the owner? Yes. Okay.
But he doesn't run it?
On the day-to-day basis.
Right.
So we'll continue it to the July 11th council meeting to sort out, to make sure we have all of the information correct. 14th, sorry, 14th.
Mr. Coleman?
Yes.
Okay.
5 yes?
5 yes. Okay, we'll move to item number 17. And item 17 is conditionally approving final subdivision plat of Stanton Acres, North Plat 1, located in the 3200 block of Stanton Avenue. Council Communication number 14-311.
You know, this is a great project, and I'm supportive of the project, but I also know that these properties out there in this area have had a lot of issues with water. And I asked the question, and I've gotten information, plus there's information in the blue letter. I just want to make sure that we have identified and are implementing improvements that will ensure that as much as possible that we don't have additional water problems as a result of this development. So I will move number 17, but I just want to make sure that we've done everything we can. I guess I'm looking to community development to satisfy the concerns of the adjoining neighbors as well.
Okay. So your concern was that this could add to the water problem?
Right.
If it isn't
Right. And they already have water
constructed
problems out there.
properly?
Yep.
And I think we got a nod from Mr.
Yep.
Ledwig, so.
Yep.
Okay. Got a motion? Any further comments? Seeing none. Chris?
Yes.
I guess.
Okay, we will move to item number 21, which Mr. Gray is going to speak on, approving a recommendation from the Neighborhood Revitalization Board to amend the boundaries of the Beaverdale Neighborhood Association, BNA, Council Communication 14-296. Mr. Gray.
Thank you. I just want to let people know what how a bad piece of complaints can turn into something good. This started out in February of this year. I got an email from one of the residents there about having a ticket for parking on the street while the street was being plowed. And so I had Public Works Director get in touch with him, and he said, "You're in the Drake neighborhood, you're even odd, that's how you're supposed to work." He says, "We're not in the Drake neighborhood." And so we had to check back, and I emailed Bert Dross, says, "Yeah, they're not in any neighborhood group." So we got that situation resolved. And then in subsequent conversations, they said, "You know, also, we want to get in on that neighborhood finance forgivable loan program. Aren't we in Beaverdale?" "Nope, you're not. You're in the no territory. You're in no man's territory." And so with the help of Sasha Camper and the rest of the Beaverdale group, they came, they went door to door, knocked on doors. There's about 47 homes in that area that had no affiliation. And I remember during some of the interviews, they said that people thought they were already in Beaverdale. They were getting Beaverdale mailings. And so they went, petitioned, Beaverdale listened to them, went to the Neighborhood Revitalization Board, and now they're on the agenda here, and I'm going to move that we bring them into the Beaverdale Neighborhood Association. And I will always say, welcome to the neighborhood, but now that even odds out, now you got to get your car off the street. That's what Beaverdale says.
Well, and the other piece of that, they get to participate in Neighborhood Finance Corporation.
That's right. That was the best thing about it, which we might have a discussion on.
Any further comments on this item? Item 21? Seeing none, we'll have a vote. Chris?
Yes. Yes.
I guess.
Okay, we'll move to item 25, and again, Mr. Gray, on application for a certificate of public convenience necessity to operate taxi cab services requested by Magarza Jana Crown Cab, Magarza Jana of Crown Cab LLC. Mr. Gray.
Thank you, Bob. Again, in looking through this, we've had discussions with some issues that we have with the current number of taxi cabs operating here in Des Moines. This person, as I understand it, applied a year ago and failed to get approval. And so I guess my goal here is I want to make sure that when we do have the hearing, that staff is completely prepared with all the information on here. I appreciate Skip getting this information out, but here, the things that they have to do: each taxi must have a taxi meter. Each company must operate a minimum of 5 taxi cabs with 6 licensed drivers. Each cab must bear the company's seal and logo. Rates must be charged in accordance with the city ordinance. Cab service must be available 24/7 with a dispatch service that also runs 24/7. Dispatch service must be provided, and cabs are not allowed to hail passengers from the curbside. I've been listening to some of the issues that have been going on, and it doesn't appear that some of the cab services today are honoring the cab rates. One cab company might charge $80 from the airport out to Johnston, and the next one might charge only $40. Sounds like we've got some issues there. Then we have the issues: is this person, if we let them in, are they going to become part of the group that has to pay for service down at Court Avenue and the airport? We don't know. There's a lot of things that I want to have a lot of information on before we vote on this. So before the next hearing, I'd ask staff to pull together all that information, find out if this is a one-man operation. Let us, take a look at his so-called dispatch center. I want to make sure that we're doing the right thing for our citizens here. I don't want somebody saying, I need a pickup to go to Dawes and get my groceries, and be told, well, sorry, we don't do that, call a Yellow or somebody else. That's not what we're here for. They're here to provide service, and I want to make sure we don't get shortchanged for our residents.
Well, this item is for setting date of hearing.
Right.
So you have some questions that you want answers to before we bring it back.
That's exactly right, I think.
Christine?
And Bob, I would just like to add, I know that we had a discussion about this a few council meetings ago regarding the issue, the cab stand down in Court Avenue, and also the fee out at the airport. I know that legal got back to us and said we really didn't have the ability to enforce that had been something that had been coordinated through the cab companies themselves. I believe we need to have some official action at this council table that is a requirement for all the cab companies. So before we start looking at whether or not there's additional service, I think that's something that we need to get cleaned up, because that was really the intent, I believe, when we all sat up here and took action to allow additional cab companies to come in. It's not fair for one cab company that's got a long-standing history of providing service in the city, that they're the ones that are shouldering all of that financial burden. So would it be possible, I'm looking to legal, to get, and the city manager's office, to get something that we can actually take action on that would be a part of the requirements for the taxi cab companies?
Prior to this hearing?
Well, that'd be nice, but I know you're going to tell me that's not possible.
Can I jump in, Christine?
Yes, please do.
It would be my preference, and I don't know if the council will go along with it, that we set the hearing out further than what's listed in the report, so that we could have those answers. I'll give you another example that I was going to speak to that is concerning to me, and I guess I would like our staff's review and input on it as well. There's a requirement, Bill mentioned it a few minutes ago, that our cab companies provide a 24-hour dispatch. That language is probably taken from technology 25 years ago. And I understand that some of the companies' dispatch is a cell phone sitting next to them in bed. And if they get a call, they forward it on or call somebody else. I think there's other advantages of our requirement of 24-hour dispatch, and I would like staff, before we grant additional license in the community, to tighten that language up, or at least work with legal so we have a clear definition of what that means. And I think as long as we're looking at that definition, Christine's comment about the cab stands and how fees are charged and so forth, ought to be under some level of review as well. That would be my preference, and I agree, Mr. Lester. If your comment or question a minute ago was skeptical, can we get this done in the next 2 weeks? I'd be willing to back the date of hearing on this, a month or 6 weeks if we needed to, so we could get these answers, so that another company isn't admitted and grandfathered in or living under definitions that aren't as tight as we would want them.
So maybe we would move the hearing on this to July 28th, and that would give you...
That'd be adequate.
Would that be adequate?
That would be adequate for us. However, just everyone would need to understand that whatever uniform regulations are put in would be uniform. And given there wouldn't be any grandfathering of current ones and new ones doing something differently with an application that's already on file. So just to make sure that that's clear, I would see no problem with setting the date of hearing on the 28th, and that should give us ample time.
Well, and there's a lot of information that Bill is requesting that we pull together for this particular entity, so. Are you comfortable with that?
Yes, I am. I just want to make sure that if we make a decision, we've got all the facts. I think Chris made a good point. Having a cell phone by your nightstand does not qualify, to me, as a dispatch center. And I'd like to kind of get an idea how some of these guys really do operate. Are they charging whatever they can get away with? It's awful tough to police that, I understand. But, you know, if we're going to have rules out there, they got to be followed.
And I think what our legal is telling us, if we set up a program, it's going to apply to everybody, not just the new ones coming on. So no grandfathering other rights or whatever they might call.
Well, with respect to the current, current applicant, yes, sir.
Can I mention one other thing for staff's review, please? It's my understanding that after we've granted some license, that the taxi cab's license has been transferred to a different owner, that we granted on a corporation. So if that corporation is sold to somebody else inherits those licenses. Again, this is something that I understand to be accurate. I'm not necessarily, I don't have evidence that it is. Nonetheless, I'm troubled by the fact that our ordinance would allow these to be transferred from one owner to another as long as they bought that corporation. I feel like we're licensing kind of like we do with cabs. Both the taxi itself and the taxi company is a lot about the commitment of the ownership, and I as a public service. So I'd like staff to look at how we could tighten that up, or at least allow the council to be notified or approve of a transfer of these licenses.
Sounds like you have a long to-do list.
Way to go, Bill Gray.
So, Bill, your motion is to move it and continue the hearing, or
Set the hearing date for July 28th, is that the correct?
Yeah.
That's what recommended by.
And provided we get input back from staff and legal for the things we discussed.
Correct. Chris?
Yes.
5 yes.
Okay, that completes the items that were pulled in our consent agenda. However, there are ordinance here on, say, under the second consideration that since we don't have 6 votes tonight, these items will be withdrawn. No?
Only the final consideration items.
Only
These will be back on your agenda the next meeting for third consideration.
First reading would still go through.
So it'll be continued to the next meeting, is that what you're saying?
Well, the
Third reading.
consideration would come back
Okay.
at the next meeting, but for currently, we would still want the vote on the first item.
Second reading tonight, and the third would be the next.
Correct.
Okay, are these, this says final consideration.
Right.
Yeah,
so
instead of
the final consideration
you'll
would be
hear
taken
one more
away.
time.
Okay,
That's what's.
so that's 49A and B.
Yes, sir.
That would be the second reading that's being voted on tonight, and then it'll come back to us for the third reading. So do we have a motion?
I think, wasn't that as part of the
Those
consent?
were already part of the consent.
That's part
Now
of
we're-
the consent?
Yeah, those have already been approved with those items out.
We amended the agenda earlier to take those out, so we're okay.
What, did everybody have those amendments, or is it just you give them to us?
They're in the final one that
Okay.
was published, yes.
And over to 51.
Okay, item 51, amending Chapter 98 of Municipal Code regarding waste haulers permit requirements and fees. Council Communication Number 14-299. Do we have any speakers on that?
I'll move 51.
Could we have, whose authority is this under? Is it under the city clerk? Is it under Public Works? Pat?
The fee structure is with Public Works. What is happening with this item, it's being put into the schedule of fees that you have all at once. So,
Well,
Pat, if you have any
I
other...
read in there, could you approach the podium, please? I read where they apply through the city clerk's office. Question 1, who's going to enforce this?
Mayor Pro Tem,
Yes, sir.
members of the council, Pat Kazitsa, Public Works Director. Who's going to enforce the waste haulers?
Yep.
The waste haulers are a business that comes in and applies for a permit and indicates the type of equipment they have. We have had an inspection program where we go out, and it's been kind of disruptive for them, and that they have to bring their equipment together, and we're not always sure exactly which trucks are operating in Des Moines. What we have determined here is that we're going to switch to a schedule of fees, and secondly, that we are going to take and have them verify on their permit that they have the equipment they say they do. We find that the people who are already applying are the people with the major new technology equipment that meets all the requirements we have, which are basically to contain material from flying out and leaking out. And so we haven't seen a problem with those that are involved.
Okay, my second question was going to be about the statement of compliance, and that's coming from the waste hauler themselves.
That is correct. That's part of their application.
So I'm driving down 235 and I see one of these characters and stuff flying all over.
Give me a call, we'll inspect it, and we'll find out what the situation is, check their permit, and discuss it with them.
How am I going to know their permit number when it's a little decal that goes on the windshield?
If you find out which company it is, we'll track them down.
And if I can't figure that out, what are we going to do? Nothing's requiring them to have their name on the side of the truck.
License plate would help.
Just some thoughts.
I think the potential for losing waste from vehicles in Des Moines, that's the basis of this program. That's why we want to have them certifying that they've got the equipment that will not take and, lose debris or leak it out. Can it happen? Certainly it can. And when it does, we can be notified. We've been notified by police. The mayor himself has notified me in the past. And when that happens, we track it down, we talk with the company.
Okay.
On this one.
I think you've already moved
Okay.
it.
Christine.
I moved it.
Mr. Coleman?
Yes.
I guess.
It's now 5 o'clock, so we'll move to the hearings. And it starts with item 56 on consideration of an annexation moratorium agreement with the City of Norwalk, Council Communication 14295. Anyone to speak on that?
I'll move.
Move.
56.
Motion by Christine. Mr. Coleman?
Yes.
I guess.
Item 57, items regarding property at 4044 East 14th Street. A is amendment to the Des Moines 2020 Community Character Plan, Community Character Land Use Plan to revise the future land use designation from commercial, auto-oriented, small-scale strip development to general industrial. B, hearing on rezoning the property from C2, general retail and highway-oriented commercial, and R160, one-family low-density residential, to limited M1, light industrial, to allow use as a landscaping business and contractor equipment storage yard. This will be the first consideration only, item C. Any speakers?
Mayor Pro Tem.
Any
I'll wait for the speaker.
Chuck Bishop of Bishop Engineering, 3501 104th Street, here tonight representing Jeff Tucker, the applicant. Again, it's just an existing site, no changes to the building are proposed. We actually proposed and go back in and pave the back lot, which is all gravel now, and then provide stormwater detention and landscaping adjacent to the home, the residential neighborhood to the west. So I'll be happy to answer any other questions you might have. I'm sorry, to the east.
How far does that property go to the south? There's a line of timber through there, I think there.
It goes right to that line of timber.
Okay.
Yep. And then you have that little sit and go, that gas station is just south of it, so.
So is that going to incorporate that?
No.
Into this? Okay. All right.
That still remains.
Any questions? No questions? Okay. Thank you. Do we have, Skip, you were going to comment on this?
I'll move 57.
57, A, B, and C?
A, B, and C.
Okay. Motion for 57, A, B, and C.
Coleman, yes.
Coleman, yes. Thank you.
5 yes.
Okay, we will move to item 58.
No, we'll go back.
We're going to go return back our, only had that one item.
There's two items. 57, so now we're back to
Communication, 52. Okay, we revert back to item 52, amending Chapter 114 of the Municipal Code, submitting traffic regulation changes as follows. Council Communication Number 14290, parking meter and parking restriction revisions near the new Residence Inn by Marriott and Hampton Inn on Water Street. B, stop sign installation at East 35th and Hall Avenue. C, speed limit change Keosauqua Way between Lynn Street and 19th Street. Do we have any speakers on item 52?
I'll move item 52, A, B, and C. And I will also do it based, no, I can't do it, sorry.
What?
Sorry.
Can't wait.
Don't have enough votes.
Good try. Good try.
Move, or yes.
Chris, yes.
5 yes.
Okay, communications reports. Number
53.
Did we skip 53?
yes, sir.
Amending Chapter 114 of the Municipal Code regarding adjustment of rates in municipally owned parking garages in conjunction with economic development assistance. Council Communication Number 14-316. Yes, we did skip 53.
I will move item 53 and also make a comment that I am glad to see us working and having some flexibility with parking rates. That's one of the key items as people are looking at developing and or expanding in the downtown area. So I think it's important that we have that as an economic tool with some flexibility.
Is that a committee that sets those, or is that individual that deals
I think it's
with
left
it?
up to the city manager discretion.
City manager?
Is that right?
It'll be left to the city manager. We'll make a recommendation on packages that we bring on development projects, and we will include so you know exactly what's going on.
So council will ultimately get the final approval. It'll be part of an overall package.
Correct.
Right, okay.
Okay, 53, we have a motion.
Coleman is a yes.
Did somebody move that?
Christine. I did.
Okay, Christine did, and Coleman's a yes. We have the rest of our votes here.
5 yes.
Okay, now to 54, communication reports from David Costello, 1105 Orchard Lane, to speak regarding homeless evictions and compassion campaign. Mr. Costello.
Good afternoon. My name is David Costello, and I do live at 1105 Orchard Lane. About 7 years ago, I used to come to the city council on a pretty regular basis, and we were kind of throwing rocks at each other. And I always started the meetings by, a wise person once said, you can measure the worth of a community by how well it takes care of its least fortunate citizens. At the time, we had over 200 homeless. Since that time, we've built a new shelter, everybody working together. One of our fears was when the shelter was completed, everybody would wipe their hands and say, well, we got the homeless problem solved, let's move on. But as you well know, the homeless problem isn't solved. And the shelter's full, people got to sleep in a chair for a week to get in. And then about 6 months ago, I appeared before the city council and talked about there's this international campaign on most compassionate cities. And I recommended the city of Des Moines pursue that award, that certificate. And Mayor County at the time, he had been to Louisville and he'd heard it, and he told all of us here that, yes, he wants to start a campaign. I located Mercy College of Health Science, offered to host a meeting, and The mayor wanted to hold off on it for a while. Why, I don't know. And I'm thinking that if we really do want to start a compassion campaign, one of the critical parts of that would be is how well we're taking care of our least fortunate citizens. And I can well understand, I know the homeless, I still visit them. And I've been out of town, came back, and there's a lot of scared people down there, they're nervous. And they want the same thing all of us want. They want to be treated with respect, and they want safety and security and stability in their lives. Now we're addressing the evictions mostly on about safety issues, but the safety or the security and stability, because these people don't know what's going to happen to them. They don't know where they're going to go. And it's been, my understanding is there's been an appeal, and they're going to have a hearing on July the 7th. And then if the city is, if they say, no, you don't have any rights, the city is going to evict those people. And I think if we all work together, there can be a more compassionate way about going about that. And I'd like to, there's all kinds of things like the 100,000 home campaign you see on 60 Minutes. And so anyway, you all know, you know me, some of you know me, and I think there's a more compassionate way to deal with our homeless sisters and brothers. And if we're unable to do that, I figure I got one more good fight in me. But anyway, and I'd be willing to give 20 hours a week of my time to help, because those people know me, and work with them and work with the city to get this done. And I understand that you're also, Mr. Clark, before you retired, recommended that you hire a homeless coordinator. I understand that's in the works with the county and the city. I don't know if it is or not, but if it's not, it should be expedited, because we need that position desperately here in the county. Because there's going to be, our homeless situation is not going to go away. It's going to get worse, because poor people are getting poorer and the rich are getting richer, and we all know that. So I'd like to end with a little quote. Well, I will quote from Pope Francis. He's addressing the World Economic Summit. He says, "I ask you to ensure that humanity is served by wealth and not ruled by it." I think we're headed towards more of a rule thing than a democracy. So thank you for your time. If you have any questions, I'd be glad to answer. Thank you.
Thank you, David. I think you've been a great proponent for these homeless people. Christine?
Just a couple of comments, David, and I appreciate all of your help and support in the past. Number one, the city has worked, I know city staff has worked with primary health care, and they've actually been down working with the...
Not very often.
Well, but I know that they are down there trying to work with them, and it may be a challenge to connect with some of them, but I know that primary health care worked very well with the city when we were working, but we'll continue to make sure that happens.
They need to, because there's a lot of scared people down there right now.
Understand.
And
the other
they need reassurance that, because the system, they don't trust the system.
Okay, I understand, and we'll take it back with them.
If there's any way I can help, I'd be more than glad.
Okay, that's wonderful. The other piece is the compassion piece that you were talking about. And Chris, maybe you'll want to add to this, but I believe the Homeless Coordinating Council can take that up and have a discussion as well, and the mayor is a part of that group, as well as the homeless coordinator, because I know that there is some discussion going on.
And we could include the county in it.
Correct.
Yeah, I'm on the phone, so I know it's hard to hear, but if I could just weigh in for a few seconds. David, you've been instrumental in the strides that we've made as a community, and you know that I personally admire you for that, especially, when so often many of us just
hated the prospect of you coming one more time to the city council to tell us the truth about where we stood. We needed to hear it, but it was hard, and I think we've made a lot of progress. You are right. We have discussions underway with the county, and we have money reserved to hire a homeless coordinator. That's important. It grows more important all the time because we do need people off our streets and off the trails. It's not a safe place for them, and it was proved in the last couple of weeks in the storms, and that makes me really sad. And so we have to double down our efforts to move people out of the trails, off the riverbanks, out of camps, because there's a more dignified way to live. I know you're right, too, that they don't trust the system, and they don't trust a lot of us in power, and so we have to be real delicate about the way we go about doing that. But I think we have made great strides. The city and the county are sitting down in the next 10 days to talk about this position and how we staff out taking the next steps. And I'll wait very anxiously for the ruling on the appeal on the living conditions. As you know, I think there's a better place for these people to go. The city has contributed millions to try and make sure they're safe places, and I know that it will be more safe and more dignified for them to move. This is not about trying to rule poor people, but it's trying to help them make the best life they can for themselves. So we will take it up. Thank you for coming down, and I'll leave my comments there.
Thank you, Chris. When's the next Homeless Coordinating Council meeting?
Well, we meet every other month, David, the first week of the month, so our meeting was about 2 weeks ago. But I'm certain that we'll probably be in a position where we're meeting sometime in a special meeting in July or early August, if we don't meet before our regularly scheduled meeting the first Tuesday of August, because we are working to take action to make this position a reality.
Well, I want to be at the meeting.
I'll make sure that you're notified. I'll personally take responsibility for that.
All right, thank you. And thank you all for your time again. God bless all of you.
Thank you.
Thank
Move
you.
to receive and file.
Move, yes.
5 yes.
Okay, item 55 from Steve Purcell, Group Vice President for Operations at Mediacom, to announce that Des Moines has been selected to receive national television coverage on C-SPAN networks.
Thank you, Mayor Pro Tem in the City Council. First of all, I want to say, I've been with Mediacom now for over 10 years here back in Des Moines.
Are you Steve?
I am Steve Purcell from 2205 Ingersoll Avenue, here in Des Moines. And we've taken great pride in the infrastructure that we built and the investments that we've made in the city of Des Moines, whether it's with our fiber infrastructure, our facilities, data centers, and especially the employee base that we've continued to create, not only in Des Moines but also in Polk County. And with that, we take great pride also as being part of the community of Des Moines, and at the same time period as being part of Polk County. I mean, Des Moines is our largest operating center that we have, and I think we've done, from a corporate standpoint, everything we can to try to be as involved in the community. I've personally been involved with the Ingersoll run there and with the West Des Moines, the West Side Chamber and stuff, creating that and trying to create a very nice environment down Ingersoll Avenue. With that, though, I take great pride is with working with our group with C-SPAN is actually Des Moines has been chosen by C-SPAN to be a community that they're going to do a special documentary on. A special series next month, one of multiple cities across the United States. So with that, I'm going to introduce Adrienne Hoare, who is with who's with C-SPAN. But interesting part about it is she actually started her career in television business with WOI there in West Des Moines. So but I welcome you.
Thank you, Steve. Thanks, Steve, and City Council, Mayor Pro Tem, thank you for having us here. We really are very excited about our visit here to Des Moines, and I particularly am excited because I get to come back to where I started out. A special thanks to the folks at Mediacom who helped us select the stories that we're going to cover while we're here in town, and they've been really integral in making this visit this week that we're going to be here a successful week. So lots of thanks. this, a lot of times C-SPAN, when we do come to Iowa and we do come to Des Moines, it's a political focus. And so I've been lucky enough to come back to cover the straw poll or the caucuses. And this project that we're working on this week is a little bit different, and I'll tell you what we're planning on doing. But before I do that, I just wanted to say my time at WOI when I first started back as a young producer, was very excited to come back here to Des Moines. And my colleagues gave me a call today. They had just finished a shoot and they were looking for lunch. And they said, where can we go in Des Moines for a place to eat? And I said, it's been 10 to 12 years. I don't even recognize Des Moines anymore. You guys have done so much in growing the city and bringing such growth to downtown. So it's really exciting that we're going to get to feature Des Moines for our city's tour programming. C-SPAN started in 1979 with the help of the cable industry, and we started just covering gavel-to-gavel coverage of the House. Later in the 80s started our Senate coverage, again gavel-to-gavel, and since then we've expanded. We have 3 networks, C-SPAN, C-SPAN 2, and C-SPAN 3. And then in 2011, they started our program. We call it the C-SPAN Cities Tour. And what we do, we pick 24 cities all across the country. We have an East Coast team and a West Coast team, and we kind of split the country in half. And we're looking for mid-sized cities that have really rich history that we can cover as part of our history programming, and then we also do book TV programming in those cities. And so we're looking for places that have authors that live in the area and a rich, vibrant literary community. And so Des Moines had all of that, and so which is why Des Moines has been selected to be featured as part of this program. And let me tell you a little bit about what some of the stories we'll be covering. I said we do American history programming and book TV programming. We're going to be talking about the flood of 1993 with Kevin Cooney from KCCI, working with Jack Lufkin to do a piece on Fort Des Moines and the Fort Des Moines Museum. We're doing a piece with Gary Slater on the Iowa State Fair and its history and how politics became involved with the Iowa State Fair. And we'll also be doing a tour of the Capitol in Des Moines. We'll be there tomorrow. And that's all of our American history, some of our American history pieces that we'll be covering. And then for book TV, we'll be talking with Dave Price about his book, Caucus Chaos, and kind of all the stories he's covered as a reporter for WHO. We're talking with, earlier today at the Des Moines Public Library, we spoke with Bill Fredericks, and he's written a book on several developers here in Des Moines, including Bill Knapp and FM Hubble. So we talked to them about those folks and what kind of influence they had in developing the city. We'll also be talking with Michael Gartner, his book, Outrage, Passion, and Uncommon Sense. I have to read this because these book titles get long. How editorial writers have taken on and helped shape the great American issues of the past 150 years. So we'll talk with him and his role with the Des Moines Register and his experiences here. And we'll also be visiting the Salisbury House and talking about some of the rare book collections that are housed there. So these are some of the pieces that will be part of our feature, and the pieces air individually, and they'll air July 19th and 20th, and then they'll also air as part of a block. We'll have Mr. Coleman's gone. Y'all have to tell him how he can catch everything. But all the book TV pieces will air as part of a book TV block on C-SPAN 2, which does 48 hours of book programming every weekend. And that block airs at 11 a.m. On the 19th. That's Saturday. And then that's Sunday, July 20th. At 1 p.m. your time will be all the American history pieces. They'll air as back-to-back as part of a block. And then once everything airs, it'll be featured. Des Moines will have its own landing web page on C-SPAN's website where you can see all the pieces whenever you want from now until forever. And then also if you want to follow what we're doing here while we're in Des Moines, We're doing extensive social media through Twitter it's at C-SPAN Cities, so no hyphen, just at C-SPAN Cities. And then, like I said, everything will be available online. And then also I wanted to make sure we mentioned we're having MediaCom and C-SPAN are holding a kind of a reception tomorrow at the River Hub spot, and everybody is invited to come. There'll be music and food and drinks, all provided by MediaCom, and we'll talk a little bit more about what we're doing. And the rest of the crew, there's 4 of us in town, so the rest of the crew will be there, so you won't just have to hear me yammer on. And then we'll have, Phyllis has flyers that we'll leave up at the front table, so.
We handed some of those out, so.
Yeah.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
And then, does anybody have any questions about what we're doing, or?
Any questions for Adrian? No? Sounds like it's going to be a great party, so I hope everybody attends.
We hope so. Thank you very much.
Thank you, appreciate it. I'll move to receive and file the information.
Is Chris back on? Chris?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
All right. Thank you.
yes?
So many errors. Okay, we're moving now to item 58, a letter of support and development agreement with the Young Men's Christian Association, YMCA of Greater Des Moines, Iowa for redevelopment of property at 501 Grand Avenue, Council Communication number 14-297. Anyone here to speak on that item?
I'll move item 58. I guess I would just make the comment, I thought we had a discussion regarding this, that if we had other incentives or aspects that we were providing via Vision Iowa grants, that would be taken into account. So I'm not sure why we're giving cash on top of the vacating and conveying the alleyways.
This is in line with what we've done with other similar
It is.
properties for Vision Iowa, and we are taking into account the more in-kind actions that the
Okay.
city needs to do to expedite their project. I will say, if you've driven by there, they're starting to
It's making
really expand on the west side. That'll be quite the facility.
Chris?
Yes.
yes.
Okay. 59, Urban Renewal Development Agreement and Proposed Conceptual Development Plan with Locust Street Investments, LLC, for redevelopment of property at 1420, 1424, and 1430 Locust Street. Council Communication number 14-309. Any speakers on item 59?
I'll move item 59. Look forward to getting it done.
I think that would be a great addition to our downtown.
That'd be awesome.
So, yeah.
Yes.
yes.
60, contact with Langley Productions, Inc. to film various activities of Des Moines police officers for inclusion in the television series Cops. Council Communication number 14312. C-SPAN Cops. I believe in reading this, we've went through this prior years and it's worked out well. And
Yeah.
don't anticipate any problems.
Hey, it worked well when the city participated before, and we expect the same. It'll be the summer into the fall.
I'll move 60.
Skip has moved 60. Chris?
Yes.
yes.
And as I see that, that ends our agenda. We need a motion to adjourn.
Move.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. All right, thank you all for your attendance.
Good night, Galen.
What'd you say,
Hope the
Jeff?
cops don't get you.